person. It's too far long, as we all know. I'm here today to share the.
Array, what is this net? Huh? Off. Okay.
Love that. I mean, you could potentially lose people on rotation. You could actually have more infighting in certain compounds, etc. Splits are going to be harder to execute as well because you're just going to have a few more people in the vicinity looking at you as you're even trying to transition to some of those compounds. So it's going to be very exciting to see how they solve the puzzle on the battleground to deal with all of the teams near them.
And also it's very interesting, I had the chance to talk with a few of the players, the coaches too. A lot of them are going to be very stubborn, like they do not want to give their drop location away, so we are going to have quite a few happening, hopefully.
You know what, that's dangerous, right? It's 3 days. We had 18 matches in total. Like, it's not like you have a lot of time to adapt. It's not like you have a lot of time to make mistakes and make up for it. As we can see here, 3 days of action with 11th, 12th, and 13th. The after party, we can talk a little bit about it. I'm actually super excited for this as well because not only are we changing like the format a bit, the prize works a bit, but we also have some new teams coming in.
Yeah, we're going to have some big teams like your Bigatron, Red Aliens are going to be coming into the mix, so I'm really happy to see how they're going to be performing in particular, and also the team I'm going to be keeping my eye out for in that event is going to be RAT Sport that has had some up and downs recently in like when it comes to Arabia.
Oh no.
किन त्यहाँ हेर्नु पर्दैन मोबाइलमा यहाँ हेर्न
I'm here today to share the.
What happened?
Against each other, beginning with PNPL's Southeast Asia versus PEL. You never want to miss it, so please follow us from September 22nd to 25th. Okay, it's a time to go back to enjoy PMWI. On the circle! Thank you!
ओके अब हल्का फुल्का पीएमजीसी को पनि हिन्ट भइसकेको छ 48 रिजनल टिम्स भनिएको छ भनेपछि हामी अब यो एज्युम गर्न सकिन्छ 24 टिम इस्टमा खेल्छ 24 टिम वेस्टमा खेल्छ लाइक पीएमजीसी ईस्ट पीएमजीसी वेस्ट तरिका हामी एज्युम गरे किन त 48 टिमको लबी गराउन त पोसिबल रहने भएन अथवा 16 को तीनटा ग्रुप बनाएर खेलाउने कुरा पनि रहेन सो चान्सेस अनि स्लटको मात्रा कहीं न कहीं साउथ एसियामा पनि बढी आउँछ कि जस्तो छ हाम्रो टिमहरुले थोरै नजर लगाइसकेको होला नि हुन त हामीले केही लिक्सहरुको रूपमा पाएको थियो बट यहाँ फाइनल कन्फर्मेसन पनि भइसकेको छ प्रिपरेसनको लागि तपाईले भने जस्तै केही लिग्सहरुले चाहिँ फाइदा पनि दिन सक्छ नेपाली टिमहरुले अबको अपकमिङ इभेन्टहरुमा त्यही हिसाबले ओके जान पाइन्छ कि भन्ने एक्सपेक्टेसनको साथमा खेलेको पनि मेबी देख्न पाउनेवाला छौं अनि कतिको इन्ट्रेस्टेड हुनुहुन्छ त यो ल्यान्ड हेर्नको लागि लाइक आफ्टर अ लङ टाइम हुँदैछ लास्ट टाइम जब पीएमजीसी ल्यान्ड हुने भनेको थियो त्यसपछि के भयो हामीलाई पनि थाहा छ हैन अनि कोभिडको कुरा रह्यो त्यसपछि कुनै पनि प्रपर ल्यान्ड इभेन्ट एटलिस्ट ग्लोबलमा चाहिँ देख्न पाइएको थिएन रिसेन्टली हामीले एससी रिजनमा केही ल्यान्ड्सहरु भएको अथवा बीएमपीएल अथवा च्याम्पियनशिपहरु ल्यान्ड भएको चाहिँ देख्न पाएको थियो होपफुली हाम्रो रिजनमा पनि ल्यान्ड चाँडै आउला बट कहीं न कहीं ग्लोबलबाट सुरु हुनु पर्यो न त इन्डोनेसियामा ल्यान्ड हुन्छ फाइनल हुन्छ भनेर पीएमजीसी को अनाउन्समेन्ट पनि आयो बट इन बिट्विन सायद यो स्प्लिटमा स्पेशली अब आउने जुन पीएमपीएल छ त्यसपछिको स्प्लिटमा चाहिँ के एक्स्ट्रा ल्यान्डहरु चाहिँ हामी सायद देख्न पाइन्छ बट फर द फर्स्ट अफिशियल इभेन्ट ल्यान्ड अफिशियल ल्यान्ड भनौं पबजीमा त्यसको लागि चाहिँ म इन्ट्रेस्टेड किन भन्दा स्टेज कस्तो हुन्छ हैन एआर कस्तो आउँछ कुन भर्चुअल कुराहरु देखाउँछ एन्ड प्लेयरहरुको सिटिङ कसरी राखेको छ प्रिपरेसनको लागि के राखिएको छ एन्ड सो त्यो हेर्न चाहिँ अलिकति मजा आउँछ सो ऑडियन्सले पनि वाउ भन्ने मोमेन्टहरु आज धेरै पाउँछ कि
मतलब न ल्यान्ड इभेन्ट भन्ने बित्तिकै मेबी त्यही एक्स्ट्रा चिजहरु देख्न पाइन्छ भनेर पनि धेरै ऑडियन्सहरु पनि इन्ट्रेस्टेड हुन्छ हुन त आफूले पनि विटनेस त गरेको छैन अहिलेसम्म त्यो कुरा त्यो हेर्न म पनि एकदमै इन्ट्रेस्टेड छु स्टार्टिङमा चाहिँ जुन देखाइएको थियो झिलिमिली चारैतिर बत्ती बलेर आमामा तलक तल्किँदै देखिएको थियो मेबी त्यही नै स्टेज रहेको थियो प्लेयर्सहरु बस्ने ठाउँ हेर्न त यसरी रमाइलो हुन्छ तर फर्स्ट क्वेशन तपाईलाई
Oh no. I'm here today to share the.
यसले जित्यो भने यही हाम्रो अथवा उसले जित्यो भने उही हाम्रो त्यस्तै हामी यहाँ पनि त्यही तरिकाले अप्रोच गर्छौँ बट स्टलवर्डसँग अलिकति बढी मन जानेछ कि छिमेकी देश भारतको टिम सोल रहेको छ त्यसको बारेमा पनि सायद हामी कुरा गर्न सकिन्छ होला यदि राम्रो खेल्यो भने पनि कुरा गरिन्छ राम्रो खेलेन भने त अझै कुरा गरिन्छ स्टलवर्डको बारेमा चाहिँ अलिकति एक्सपेक्टेसन रहेको छ मलाई त लाग्छ स्टलवर्डले टप 5 त मिनिमम फिनिस गर्छ बट प्रब्लम के छ थाहा छ 18 को लबी छ अनि हिजो हामीले ड्राइडनको म्याचमा पनि हेरेको त्यहाँ पनि सर्कल अलिकति फास्ट मुभ गरिरहेको थियो 19-20 मिनेटमा चौथो पाँचो सर्कल अथवा समेर राउन्ड आइसकेको थियो त्यो सबै कुरा भयो भने चाहिँ क्लास हुनेछ 20-25 किलको चिकन डिनर हाल्छ धेरै टिमहरूले सायद मलाई त्यसैको लागि इन्ट्रेस्टेड छु सबै कुरा छोडेर मेबी मजा आउनेवाला छ क्लास रोटेसन कट अफ ड्रप लोकेसन वाइज हरेक कुरामा चाहिँ जुन हामीले हेरिरहेको नर्मल म्याचेस भन्दा चाहिँ धेरै भिन्नता चाहिँ हामीले यहाँ देख्न सकिन्छ होला हुन त यो ग्लोबल रिजनको लबी बनिसकेपछि अब ओभरअल ग्लोबलकै टिम्सहरू आइसकेपछि एग्रेसन अलिकति यसै पनि बढी भइराखेको त देखिन्थ्यो हाम्रो स्क्रिनमा भने चाहिँ देखिँदैछ सायद हाम्रो ल्यान्डको भेन्यू जहाँ प्लेयर्सहरूलाई पनि देखाइँदैछ हामीले प्लेयर्सहरू देख्दैथ्यौँ त्यहाँ प्रिपरेसन गरिराखेका छन् चेयरमा रेडी भएर खेल्नको लागि मेबी अब त्यही अनुसारले हामी पनि बिस्तारै म्याचेसहरू अगाडि बढाउनेछौँ फर्स्ट म्याच हिराङ्गल हेर्न हामी जानेछौँ म त पहिलो 18 को लबी सोचेर नै एक्साइटेड छु कि सुरुमा मैले थर्ड पार्टी टुर्नामेन्टहरू गर्दाखेरि पनि 18 को लबी खेलाउँथेँ क्या त्यहाँ टिम्सहरूको गुनासो हुन्थ्यो कहाँ यहाँ त ड्रप लोकेसनै पाइँदैन लुट्ने ठाउँ नै पाइँदैन एन्ड सो अन भनेर बट अब त ग्लोबलमा नै 18 को लबी छ त्यहाँ त अब कम्प्लेन
harus mereka maksimalkan, kemudian juga harus mengetahui behavior dari sebelah kiri mereka dari Rozok itu siapa. Kemudian juga di Gatka itu ada tim yang terkuat dari China, mereka harus bisa mengontrol sisi tersebut. Kemudian juga belakangan meta beberapa coach ngomong ke gue di Indonesia, sekarang circle adanya ping
championships, a lot of teams just weren't really able to live up to what they did in their own region. And when you're playing at an international event at a global scale like this, I'm kind of worried for those teams.
Yeah, and I think that's the lack of international experience that a lot of these teams have, unfortunately, heading into this. So this first day is going to be rough for some of these squads, right? They're going to have to deal with it the hard way. It's going to be like trial and error for a lot of these guys, seeing how the drop goes, how the rotation goes, and I think that after this first day, after the first game of each map, things will start to settle in a little bit more, but it is a lot of unknown heading into now.
It's definitely a feel-out day, right?
Yeah.
That's fair to say. We have seen these guys have a few test games here and there to try and feel out the drops, as you're saying. But even as we've studied these teams' drops, where they're going, sometimes in their own regions, they've had their preferred drop, but then had to move away. Here, we're going to see some of that again. We're going to see teams like, I mean, I can't even do it.
Gaming.
I can't hear myself. Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately, we can.
Apparently, yeah. I mean, for example, their Yasnaya split that they were doing with 2 and south of Kameshki, as well as Yasnaya. You have to tighten that up in this kind of lobby here because there's more threats actually looming on the edges of your drop. So even from the word go in these games, you got to be very, very careful about how you're feeling at the other teams.
I mean, for teams who haven't played on a national level, like you think of Vivo Key, and I know we talked about this actually quite a bit before the event, they've not really played a LAN. They've not really played a global event. I mean, you're kind of hitting two big things all in one. Like, realistically, what can you expect from a team like this? I mean, obviously, Brazil has high hopes for them.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's all about the preparation going into the event, know your scrims. And I also know that a lot of teams have picked up a coach pretty much last minute, but that can have a pretty drastic impact on your team and how you approach and visualize the game, right? I think that can have a pretty big impact, like talking about
Vivo Key. They qualified above teams like Influence Rage, Alpha 7, which is even Loops, which is very, very impressive. So I've had the chance to cast them a little bit over in the Western tournaments and like Americas. I think they have the chops to do well on an international event. Unfortunately, we'll have to see how it's going to go because we've never seen it before, but I think there's a chance that Vivo Key could be like a dark horse almost heading into this.
Okay, actually, Cars, do you have a dark horse that you're looking at?
I mean, it's kind of up and down. I guess I would have to pick a team like Morph. They come from a great region. I did expect other teams to qualify from that region, like RRQ, for example. But they showed that they're able to hang with the top teams there. So maybe they can make something happen in this lobby, even though I'm favoring the big dogs overall.
Okay, yeah, and considering we have 18 matches, right? And you're talking about like getting accustomed to the lobbies, you don't have time, and we have actually seen, like you mentioned before, a lot of coaches come in, a lot of really well-known coaches, some maybe on Nova X Quest have, the ones who have been able to take over GD. Like, how much can a coach realistically offer you when you only had, I guess, maybe a little bit of lead up into the event, but you only have 3 days of play? It's really hard to make drastic changes to how the lobbies play out.
I mean, in terms of gameplay, of course, you've got a lot of research and work that's been done in the background. I think it's mostly getting the players and the teams in the mentality, because a lot of the coaches that have been picked up by these teams have that LAN experience. They know how it works out, and now the teams adapt to it. And I think just telling them how it's going to happen and how it's going to go down is really good for the mental state. Like, they seem more prepared heading into this.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be getting into our first match shortly here, but I'm going to give a shout out here to Sony with the play to win with Xperia 1 IV created collaboration with professional esports players, so you know it's going to be good. So Sony's Xperia is the official smartphone provider and partner here of PubG Mobile. But as you saw before on the schedule, we do have Erangel coming up here in just a few moments to kick things off this event. High fives going out, at least air high fives as well here. But it's time to bring in our commentators, maybe have a little chat with them before the match kicks off here. We got John Allen and Blank joining me here on the desk. Gentlemen, this is going to be crazy. It's going to be exciting. Maybe you have some teams you want to point out. I'll leave the floor open to you.
Thank you very much, Jason. Yeah, we're going to be getting into this first game, Blank. There's a lot of teams here with a lot on the line.
There is, yeah, and Jason was asking, you know, is there any other teams that maybe we're looking at? I think there's one team that maybe the guys on the desk haven't mentioned yet that I'd love to talk about, and that is actually Vampire Esports. I do think that this team currently looks extremely good as a team overall. You know, they've been through a lot of different iterations of Victim Sober at the start of the year into Victim 365, then Ion Esports in their qualifier for the Spring 22 finals, and now finally coming through you know, now as Vampire Esports. So, oh no, they were Power AAA right at the beginning. Sorry, that's Mob GG I'm talking about. But they've gone through a lot of iterations. They have now Corpai on the team, who used to be on Power AAA when they had some of their better games. He's coaching, so they're talking about coaching on the desk as well. This could be a great position for them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be looking pretty strong for them right now. Everyone loading up into the game. I think we got the plane path of the first game, maybe. Loading on up here, Blank as well. You can see the players in the lobby. Look at that. They're running around. They're trying to get everything sorted. Those furtive glances over the shoulder there. Something going on.
Yeah, no, just trying to get people into the match, and already we are having things kicked off here in the PMWI, this regional clash between so many different players from so many different countries here. It's great to see the representation. There's no problems either, because everyone's playing here at LAN.
Game number one, loading on up. Erangel. As we kick things off here. Players loading on, the plane path moving over as it fades into the map. Loading on up. Match number one. It all starts now. The helicopters flank the plane.
Helicopters coming out of this one next to the plane here. We are having our plane path already. We did a little quick sneak peek at this plane path at the beginning of the game, heading just under Novo up towards Ganka. Now this is a fantastic little drop spot already for Stalwart. I'd imagine they're going to be dropping out the plane here, but it's Aton jumping out almost immediately, heading up possibly towards Mill to Power, That's a drop spot that they've been loving recently. Rozok, on the other hand, quite inaccessible, and that was going to be quite the big hot drop for a lot of teams like Donuts heading up there, a few other teams on that location with Danmore and Kia just underneath them in School and Apps, but you can see that Stalwart already immediately in Nova Noya. Sometimes they will head towards North Sosnovka, but this is their preferred drop, and this is great for an 18-man lobby, John.
Yeah, and then Wildcats as well over on that military base, joining them on that South Island, those northern crossings. Maybe a little bit more populated, do you think, after those bridges with this plane path as south as it is? Some teams will try and migrate north shore, but that traffic jam will certainly have an impact.
Yeah, you're just trying to cover as much of the map as possible. You know, James, Max, Jason on the desk, all talking about this beforehand, saying that, you know, there is going to be a lot of space on the map that you're going to have to cover. Not so many scouting positions now can be taken for these teams, just in the early game at least, just in case you get caught off guard by a team that's in the vicinity that you maybe wouldn't think would be there before. Though we do have Vampire Esports, they are doing their usual drop down towards Ferry Pier, Quarry and Primos, really taking things wide at the beginning of this game.
Yeah, a little bit of a late dropout, sure, but it was fairly close by to the plane path, right? So they will have plenty of time to be able to navigate and get things sorted. for themselves moving forwards on their northerly movements that will have to come through as the circle pops. So it looks like Falcon already in competition with Morph. The top of the hill currently occupied by Morph.
Yeah, it's going to be quite difficult here for Morph to actually... well, it's very easy for Morph to pick up on this one because Falcon's drop is a little bit further up towards Yaz, honestly. So Morph drop out early, get the catch on Falcons. Already taken one player from alone down here. Does get res back up into the fight though. So not quite elimination coming through just yet. But Donuts USG actually currently have 2 points already.
Yeah, they're starting to pop off. I mean, looks like they've managed to find themselves a little bit of a spot. Falcons, just talking about, res up in a little bit of cover. Presence known though between those two teams on that split area. Never alone has his team. Seems to play for the name. Look at this, you've got Box Gaming with some trouble.
Yeah, Box dropping right on the coastal side, and it's VGS trying to pass by them in vehicles. Now VGS have 2 spots. It's up towards Savernia as their secondary, Leponka as their primary. Not able to get to any of them. This is so awkward, but this is now time for Box to try and show some dominance. They regrouped around Break and SOAS after their decent PMGC. I think it was World League. Now they really need to show their stuff here after losing a couple of players and reforming.
Nearly perfect nade there coming through from Break, but doesn't quite get the knock. They will have got that hit marker, that indication that there's a player close. They know there's a vehicle moved. Well, they still know that there's a player this close. Mini 14 with the 4X on the off angle for VGS. Should be pretty solid at holding down this ridge line, but if 3 players from Box go down, it's going to be tough. Around the side though, gives away the position, and it's an easy spray down for Box Gaming to pick up their first elimination of the game.
That's a really sick just run around there from the team. Very fantastic stuff overall. VGS just crumbling, obviously not able to get either of their drum spots in this game, and they just fumble for it. This is what the 18-team lobby does to you. You know, you try and head to a spot you think may be free, but it's just not.
Still bleeding out VGS down to 2. They will be taken on out. Donuts, they were contesting as well. Enigma Galaxy taking early losses. These are the 2 points that you were pointing out earlier.
Yeah, that is rough there. But USG, honestly, this is a team that really wanted to take Rozhok. You know, in all the practice games you see them play before this, they have always gone Rozhok here. Just looking at anything on my drops in terms of statistics, you know, 4 Rivals was the other team that was going to head over here. But in fact, you know, Enigma Galaxy tried to challenge out. Usually they're the Pachinki team, so maybe they dropped just slightly short. USG had to go a little bit further, and just on the way, they picked up a couple of points.
You'll love to see it. Certainly, if you're a USG fan. Falcon, 4 players in a vehicle, not advisable. They're heading towards Yasnaya Poliana as well, which is currently occupied by Morph on this northern rotation. They are behind the game. Morph on the western side of Yasnaya right now. They will be holding down a lot of those buildings, a lot of those compounds. Hopefully they're going to spot the Falcons' approach, right? It's a very open field. You're looking that way, you will be seeing them. They're only in 1 vehicle as well, which means that if you take them some pot shots, you might even be able to get a couple of eliminations there.
Absolutely, I mean, there's a real chance for it. Now, VGS, you know, broken and battered, heading up still past Damwon who've still gone for that Abs school split. It's a little tighter this time, though, and I respect that from Damwon. James was talking about, you know, how really they wanted to keep things survival based, get towards the end of the game. It's not about huge eliminations, it's just consistently putting up those placement points. Now, that's going to give you a good average point over in the PMWI, but 3 days, you do need to strike out a little bit. Donuts USG getting these initial 2 points and also claiming Rozhok straight away. This is fantastic for them. And Donuts USG, they've come out on top in Japan at the moment. Even in the PubG Mobile showdown between Korea and Japan, they were full 10 points ahead of anyone else in that lobby right at the top. So really fantastic stuff from Donuts USG so far.
Hopefully spinning around, turning their opponents' heads whenever they can. Morph, I think they have spotted Falcons. Falcons, you can see, still with a little bit of damage on board. That might have been from earlier, probably still healing that one up. Never Alone was the player who was already knocked by the enemy team. I don't know if it was Morph, actually. I have to go back and watch that again, but Falcons did get knocked. It was Morph from up the hill. That was the first engagement that they had, so they did already do a little bit of damage. It looks like they will not leave each other alone for now. VGS down to 2 players. They've spotted back-to-back on the ridge line. It looks like Yeah, back to back, just want to take up position.
Yep.
See whatever vantage points they can try and claim.
This is fairly interesting as well because Regan's trying to head in the direction of Morph. These are two teams that drop in Yasnaya. Regan's with a Yasnaya South Kameshki split, but Falcon's trying to take up this position as well over in Yasnaya. So a lot of contention on this eastern side of the map. I know that, 52 Esports, they've tried to take Stalba and then South Yasnaya as well before, but right now they're right on the western coast at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it seems
Whatever.
Seems like they've changed it up. I mean, to be fair, there have to be some changes, right? In this lobby, it's a new mode that these teams won't have played with 18 teams in it, right? It is seemingly a small difference, but it absolutely will have an impact, as the desk covered previously. So we'll have to see what impact that actually has, because right now, we haven't seen much more than 1 or 2 hot drops, right?
Well, what I will say, is that people have been very stubborn on their drop spots, and even just from the small research that I was able to do, I say small, modest, small research they were able to do about their drop spots beforehand in this tournament, a lot of these teams have gone for these drop spots regardless of how south that playing path was. So, we could have this gentleman's agreement going on from a lot of these teams. It's like, these are our spots, we can't go away from them, so secondary spots just really aren't too available anymore. And for that reason, if you get a really, really bad play path, you could be in for a very bad game.
Playing path on this one was very south, and the circle did shift up north. And I'm looking at the teams that have made that journey north early, and I'm looking at 4 rivals, right, all the way up in Severny, right at the top of this circle now, playing from their northern bastion. Store Esports on the southeast of the circle, just about crossing in. One of the favourites of this tournament right now, Blank.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I don't have too many notes on this team, just because they play things so clean, and there's only so many ways you could write clean, to be honest with you. So I was very, very impressed with Stalwart. I think so is the desk. They're set for a fantastic PMWI, but we could see some rising stars, some rising countries just come out of nowhere and blast them out of the water, but we'll have to wait and see here. But for Stalwart, so far things have been very good. I really do like this Novo drop for them in the beginning here. The edge of the map with 18 teams, it's going to be rough. There's not a lot of positions to play in, and with the loot that you get on board from Novo, with the 6 to 7 med kits that we saw already on just one of their players, they'll be able to outlast that storm on the edge.
You'd hope so, with the caliber of teams that we're dealing with anyway. Although that works to their detriment as well, doesn't it? I mean, they have to face off against this super high caliber lobby. It's not going to be easy. Ayton, take up the gas station. That's out to the west of Yasnaya Polyana. North, looking their way.
Yeah, so North, just on that western road, right, with Aton just underneath them. Yasnaya, for Morph, that being their original spot, they've actually moved west here towards that northern coast. So, they're just looking out for any cheeky teams that try and hold on this north coast. And it's a great idea as well, because it's a very easy position to corner and cause mayhem from many teams, because you don't really want to cluster around this southern edge. There's so much space up towards Severny, especially with that southern playing path. This is a great position to, take up and just chill out, take some time for yourself, especially if you dropped in South George, like some of the teams. In fact, we've already seen TJB move up. Vampire Esports might want to head up there, so will 52 just in the South George bridge right now. So Morph could get a lot of points just from this singular position.
I'm looking at USG as well, right? We talked about, you talked about earlier in the game. It's great they've managed to get Rodsock, they've managed to lay claim to that area, but if they don't leave there early enough, it could prove to be their tomb, their mausoleum, right? If they aren't able to get across early enough, if it's a northern shift, they could really be scuppered.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can take every one of these teams and just imagine that they're elastic bands. And USG is that first elastic band, and when you create that elastic band ball, at some point it is going to break and explode, and poor USG is right in the middle. They are going to get,
just get bigger elastic bands.
What is this behavior?
Load, and poor USG is right in the middle. They are going to get,
just get bigger elastic band. certainly have had that opportunity, probably more so than most of these other teams. Morph had to move a lot at the start. I mean, Nick the Galaxy might have had that opportunity, but unfortunately they lost 2 players early. Ooh! For Rivals, jetting down from the north side.
You absolutely would as well. I mean, this is a great time for them. You know, you get such an awful playing path, you head up all the way to Severny, and the circle just continues to move north and north and north. And now at this point in time, they were being quite passive, but with this shift, they are absolutely sending it down into the circle, trying to take a position as fast as they can in one of the compounds. But it's TJB that's rocking up for 4 Rivals who just come to this position.
GK First leading the charge, getting first opening and doing it brilliantly. Living up to the name, first elimination for the TJB squad now for Rivals. In the corner, backed up to the back building here. The height advantage in favour of TJB. Morph over the ridgeline as well. Watch out for that scout, watch out for the third party if this fight goes on too long. The off angle is there for 4 Rivals, you can see that in the minimap on the top right. They have got those sidelines to control, but Lin's moving forwards as well, putting pressure on 4 Rivals, forcing them out of this compound, of this cover. They want to try and catch them. They don't quite have the off angles, not just yet, but with that nade, jumper taken low. 4 Rivals behind the vehicle. Lin out first. Zhao soon to follow, looking to go out wide. Will they spot the player? They should have caught sight of that one, and those bullets will certainly give the game away. The gunshots ring out, but not finding the knock. Jumper now in more danger. Swings around the corner, Lin sprays, but the Scar doesn't quite land it. Half HP, and it's spotted. There is the off angle. Tinsker finds what TJB are looking for. 2 players from 4 Rivals are down.
Really incredible stuff. Yeah, I'm loving to see the new Scar love coming through, the most recent buffs for the guns coming into the game. You know, Scar being almost as good as the M4 now, if not better, depending in the hands. So really, really nice to see a little bit more variation in terms of that weaponry. Already another little knock coming through for Team Soul. But yeah, great stuff from TJB. Considering they were all the way over towards Hospital South George, that was one hell of a send that they made happen over towards this compound, which is now extremely central in this circle.
TJB firing far. Nick the Galaxy, the first team to go down fully blank. They lost 2 players very early.
Yeah.
You kind of think, fair enough, go again.
It's a bit of a struggle though for Enigma, guys. It's not kind of the precedent you want to be setting as that team when everyone knows you as the survivalist. You are the Bear Grylls of the lobby, and it's just not working out for them here. Scribe from Stalwart taking some shots over towards Wildcats. Already Ray going down. Defoe off in the distance, takes some pot shots back, but now it's the Wildcats having to regroup here and trying to make something work.
A moment, Wildcats heavily under fire for Stalwart on the south side of them, but there's a traffic jam to get further into the zone as the next circle pops heavily south as well. So it will be on their shoreline, but they have a lot of treacherous ground ahead of them.
Action eliminating Ray here.
Of course, if you guys want to earn points, you can complete daily mission. Once enough points are accumulated, you can tap on the rewards icon in the game to claim the corresponding reward. That's if you're watching enough of this PMWI.
You can participate in the event solo or team up with other players. That's absolutely fine. And you know what? Just like the players in the PMWI, teaming up could get you that reward just a little bit easier.
There's Vampire, you can see, you were talking about them earlier, they're swimming in the river right now. I always think that these river finishes in the middle section, near that Roshok crossing, is one of the most brutal places that these circles can finish.
I mean, all these teams on the northern side are going to be dragged across sandpaper, basically trying to get into this circle. It's so unfortunate because you assume it's going north here. TJB got such a nice position, and it swings to back down south. Now, I want to see USG, the Japanese team, translate this because they've been given such a good opportunity here for a chicken dinner right at the beginning of the day.
Hector looking to guard them out. Currently on the eastern side of the circle, will stop that rotation north, stop that progression west. Make things difficult. Down 1, ahead. You can see they're taking a couple of knocks from back to back. I think this is the circle where most of this impact to the 18-team lobby will be felt, although we are down to 62 players.
17 teams still. I did not expect this at this point in the game. Already 17 minutes in. It's absolutely nutty here. 52 esports do knock themselves though. That is extremely unfortunate. They're coming from that western side. But Stalwart, we mentioned them. They're taking a fight versus the Wildcats, and this is where they need to play the edge game perfectly. They've been thrown a little bit of a lifeline here on the southern edge. See if they can make anything happen with it.
Stalwart taking shots really fast and strong rotation, I'd say, but Lightning does get caught there, unfortunately, for the spray down. They are going to lose him at the wall at the top, back-to-back, have their Polo representative for the squad. The nades start to ring out. They're not going full aggression just yet, Blank.
Now, if you want to get yourself the 2022 PMWI Goods Skin and outfit, you know, we have a sale period going on through from the 4th of August through to the 13th of August. We have 50% off PMWI packs, and you get a set straight away in that time frame, and 5 extra chances to draw the PMWI treasure chest.
And if you miss out on that first sale period, there is a second one from the 14th of September all the way up till the 15th of the next month, where you get 16% off PMWI packs. You get 6 chances to draw PMWI treasure chest.
Where it's all.
Looking straight back at the game here, back to back have actually made it quite far from there. It was quite a difficult drop spot for them on that southern edge on the coast. Wildcats still in this one with 3 players. Surprisingly, you know, they took an absolute beating from Stalwart on that southeastern edge, but the circle is starting to close in right now. Directly on top of Rozok. Oh, USG, yes please!
They're very happy about that, you're right. We talked about how it might be their mausoleum, but instead it's going to be their pedestal. In this coming circle, they will be holding out strong, hopefully on the top of the hill. But we've lost 2 teams now, all under heavy fire from the Wildcats. Sporan pops those nades in, looks at the suppression. Lux does get popped a little bit in the back there, but Rocky takes a knee, and now it's just Zay for Morph to try and keep them in.
Zay, the remaining member from Morph, now has to carry the rest of the team on his back here to keep Morph GGG in the running. It's so difficult, with bullets coming through from the behind, they will be eliminated. Wildcats somehow edge their way up to the northern side and still make this work.
The Wildcats seem to be everywhere on this one, Blank, but they still have to get down south, as you say, a little bit further. Stalwart. They were fighting on that southeastern side. They are all alive. They're still vibing on the south side of Rozok. They're fighting off with Team Soul for the position here. Goblin takes a little bit of damage. You can see in the back. Hector, I think. Was that a rundown coming through from your foot? I think that might have been a rundown on the back. We'll have to double check on the elimination feed there. But either way, Team Soul down in forces, down in numbers. 3 players active. But Goblin gets knocked again. Pushing in for Top. Axe Shadow around the side, and Top goes down as soon as he hops in. Traded off by Action, and that is going to be good for Stalwart. However, they do lose Top. That was flushed.
They're still heading in though, and this is what Stalwart does best, is every single player on the team is a fragger in of their own right, and Mongolia is standing tall here on the south edge of Rozok.
Action goes down. It's unfortunate they lost Top. Action wasn't quite quick enough on that refrag to stop that flush coming through. And for that, Team Soul do pick up an elimination. They're down to 1 player now, but they've got 3 points already. Survival is the name of the game, and they're in the central buildings.
Still great news for Stalwart, really what they needed in this situation. Yes, it's not the best thing in the world, but they needed somewhere to stay. And this is going to give them a little bit of protection going forward. Wildcats unfortunately do go down inside the river. And Vampire Esports will pick up a couple of those points, so they're still going.
4 rivals. They went up early. They've come down back down south. And they've really struggled on this crossing. It's a really, really dangerous crossing. Finally though, we have got all of these teams getting out of the water. TJB similarly struggling to make that crossing, a little bit behind the curve. They will be going down. 11 teams remain.
I think for Rivals and TJB, you can't blame it on them too much here, but Vampire Esports already with 8 eliminations. You know, I hate to say, I told you guys so, but here I am.
You don't hate to at all.
Yeah, I know, I'm loving it so much. Currently, there's so many teams struggling, and I mean, it is one of those games where I don't blame anyone in this circle. You get a south playing path, starts to shift up towards that northern side, looking northern side, hard shift back down towards Rozhok, so difficult to play around. Anyone who's still in this circle is really bruised at this point.
Yeah, but if you're one of the team, if you're supporting Vampire Esports, then you're going to be pretty happy if you're from Thailand, because of course all users in the region of the top 3 teams here at PMWI will have the chance to win a prize, the maximum of 1 award per user.
Good stuff. Make sure you are participating in that and getting your rewards in, because we have a lot. Aiton, USG just looks down. Actually has the sights right on him, but just behind that wall, but they will have seen him now.
Donuts, 4 alive. Got some early points. Was the downfall of Enigma Galaxy. They might see themselves a little bit safer for it. Evo Key trading blows with the strength of the lobby. Vampires, who have not had the easiest push right now. They have sometimes, well, they have had a couple of difficult moves to make, but it looks like they're standing up. Look at that, nades over the top. Really difficult for Evo Key to get anywhere when Vampire are on the case. 11 eliminations. This team is starting to brag out. South side of the circle now. Stuff pops off as well.
They are popping off. And look, the thing is, in the SCA Championships, they came second just behind DXavier, but that was without any chicken dinners. They got so unlucky. If they'd got even a single chicken dinner, they had just enough points to take it all home in that tournament. Now Vampire Esports, they're coming in strong for Thailand in PMWI.
This is domination from the northern side of the circle. Only taking 1 knock so far, 14 eliminations now racked up. It was 11 a second ago, Blank. I don't know what they've been scrimming on, but they are certainly going well. Push around the side for Donuts to get that final flush over onto Fran, pick up that elimination point, give themselves a little bit more breathing room.
The auto shot in hand. Box Gaming just trying to hold it down. They're only taking 1 knock, so it's still decent. Down 1 Kia, as well as Japan, expect them guys to have a lot of shotguns on hand when you get to these compound finishes. They love shotguns. It's becoming meta in those regions, and it works out really well. So USG, they've got the DBS, they're ready to go.
Just some left for down 1 Kia, gets spotted on the hillside, and it's surprise, surprise, Vampire Esports to pick up that elimination. Box moving in, but under fire. Shots from the top of the hill, that's Stalwart to have the sightlines on them. Omega cowering behind the wall for Team Soul. Hopefully going to try and snake it in a lot later. 5 teams remain. This is good placement points right now for Team Soul. 3 eliminations, a good start to the India's tournament.
Very decent stuff with a 5th place guarantee, like you say, John. This is decent for them to start off their run, but Vampire Esports have put on a masterclass here. 17 eliminations so far. It's already quite unbelievable. Use SG, trying to keep things up. Just Missile remaining. Very long-standing member in Japan. He's been playing for all the tournaments. And see what he can get done in these final moments, but already brought low to 30%. Gets a quick heal off, tries to go take Gozi-san back up off his knees onto his feet, but just can't quite reach him.
Gozi-san didn't get the memo that wit beyond measure, man greatest treasure. Ravenclaw takes him down a peg and leaves them lower numbers to deal with. Vampire Esports, you don't often see this for a team moving into a settlement, having such a high score cap so far, and they are moving through with 4. Only Box Gaming and the other team with 4. Team Soul did go down in the meantime. Donuts with 1 player alive as well.
STE Stalwart though, it's been difficult. It's been a difficult run for them still. They're making it happen. They just want to get those consistent points. If this is just one of Vampire Esports' only games where they do this kind of thing, Stalwart can still catch up. Action though, it's a big one.
They knew he was behind the wall, they knew where Break was going to be, and now Box have to push out, get the vault, go fast, but Stone is on the case to be found for Break. They're around the corner, but they just can't move up. There is nowhere to go, there is no place that is safe from the Vampires.
Stone coming through from Mega Conquerors all the way back from 2019. Their uprun spiked as soon as they brought Stone onto the team. He will go down finally. Missile in the back with the Vector. Somehow ruins the day. What? USG looking to try and get some revenge onto Vampire Esports. They're down to 2 now. Looking to take on Store Esports. 3 teams to 1. And Box Gaming stay alive for now. But it is so dangerous. Vampire Esports had their day just a little bit ruined with 22 eliminations. They can still get 3 more eliminations in this match. Lucan still taking it to him. Just one player now stands between Vampire Esports and a dominant. Oh my god! Game number 1. Huge result for Vampire Esports. That is unbelievable from Vampire Esports to bring it home with a 39-pointer. Second team behind them, USG, with everything laid on the cards for them, only 16 points. Wow, wow, wow. What a gauntlet to lay down at the start of PMWI. The team from Thailand absolutely going wild. That's the kind of score that you struggle to catch up with in 2 games, let alone setting that bar in 1 game at the very beginning of the day. If I am any of a team here, I am quaking in my boots right now.
Absolutely. That was frightening. I mean, vampires are supposed to be, you know, mythical beasts of terror. And right now they are living up to that name.
It's seriously good stuff. I will say one thing is a lot of the teams tried to take some very good positions, TJB in particular there, but Vampire on that western side, they had so much time coming in that in fact they had a great decision that they could make very late on to start sweeping on that western edge, and it just worked out fantastically for them. Still, a lot of skill involved to make that happen. I mean, they did not have a lot of cover. A lot of the times, mainly it just came down to the best defense is a good offense.
I mean, absolutely. That worked so well for them. I mean, I'm honestly speechless. What a way to kick things off, right? That is absolutely incredible. But I believe that we are going to head to the desk with the scoreboard being broken down.
Yeah, match rankings by STC.
Well, thank you so much, gentlemen. I thought the Sun was like a direct counter to Vampires, but they seem to have flourished here. 24 eliminations in the debut game here at PMWI from Thailand is ridiculous here, Max. I never would have thought this team would have shown up like they just did.
Well, we said the first game was going to be messy, right? It went way better than initially expected for anyone here. Vampire Esports, I mean, with Kalash, we're going to have so many things going down. The execution on their side was top tier.
Where do we begin? The fact they actually got themselves into that position.
Go ahead, Max. Okay, yeah, but Vampire still, mainly is because of their drop location. They had to go for the wide rotate around all of the western side, and it just kind of closed down on all of the teams with Stalwart included and just like made the sandwich work out. So their rotation was on top of everything.
No, definitely. I mean, where they're actually dropping as well, this is not an easy circle to approach, but the fact that they actually drop in that southeast location of Primos, kind of that split, and then rotate all the way north, get themselves underneath the bridge, which for some of those circles is very powerful position to work with, but then it shifts away from them into Rozhok. They were able to transition from the bridge away effectively, take out people there, steal some of that kind of position from Donuts as time went on. Vampires played an absolutely spectacular game in a lobby that we had a lot of question marks around, I think. As time went on, Vampires played an absolutely spectacular game in a lobby that we had a lot of question marks around, I think. As time went on, Vampires played an absolutely spectacular game in a lobby that we had a lot of question marks around, I think. As time went on, Vampires played an absolutely spectacular game.
तो LAN के अंदर वो होगा ना कि जब एक टीम 19-20 किल्स करके लेकर जाती है तो पूरी की पूरी लॉबी उनकी तरफ मुड़कर देख रही होगी कि भाई ये क्या किया, ये
मतलब तुम लोगों ने किया क्या है हमारे साथ। सो वो वाले सीन्स जो है वो बना दिए जा चुके हैं वैम्पायर ई-स्पोर्ट्स की तरफ से, लेकिन इस डोमिनेशन को कंटिन्यू रखना एक बहुत बड़ी चीज रहेगी। एंड इन फैक्ट व्हाट आई बिलीव अलादीन इज कि वैम्पायर ई-स्पोर्ट्स के लिए कहीं ना कहीं अगला मैच चैलेंजिंग होने वाला है। बिल्कुल जी, वैम्पायर स्पोर्ट्स के अगला मैच चैलेंजिंग इस तरह से भी हो सकता है कि अब तमाम लॉबी की नजर उन पर होगी और लेकिन फिलहाल आप देखें कि थोड़ा सा जरा मैच की तरफ वापस जाते हैं। अगर वहां पर यूएससी की थोड़ी सी बात कर रहे हैं, जिस तरह से उन्होंने एक बड़ा ही इजी एंट्रेंस दे दी थी वैम्पायर स्पोर्ट्स को, मुझे उस चीज पे बिल्कुल भी मैं अभी भी वो सोचकर हैरान हो रहा हूँ कि एक टीम ऑलरेडी इतना कहर मचा रही है, आपने उसको आसानी सर्कल में आने दिया, उसके बाद उस टीम ने जब सर्कल में एंट्री ली तो उन्होंने मजीद कहर बर्पा किया। उन 7 से 8 नंबरों को, जो 8 से 9 नंबर से जो कि वोटर साइड पर उस टीम ने बटोरे थे, उसको वो 20 से 24 तक ले जाते हैं और उस टाइम पर बॉक्स उनके ऊपर पुश करती है, उस टाइम पर यूएससी को उनकी तरफ से एलिमिनेट किया जाता है। तमाम टीम्स को यहाँ से जो खदेड़ती हुई टीम नजर आती है और एक एक करके किल्स वो बटोरे जाते हैं अपने बैकपैक में। हर चीज ऑन पॉइंट थी टीम इस टीम की, वैम्पायर स्पोर्ट्स की। थाईलैंड से ये टीम आई है और आकर इन्होंने जब वो कमाल दिखा दिया अपना। इनकी कोऑर्डिनेशन की बात करें, इनकी सिनर्जी की बात करें, इनका जो ग्रेनेड्स का यूजेस था, यूटिलिटी यूजेस था, वो बहुत अच्छा था। कहीं पर भी हमने ऐसा नहीं देखा कि ये टीम जो वो किसी टीम पर पुश करते हुए एक नॉक भी दे दिया, नॉक तक नहीं दिया गया इनकी तरफ से। इनफैक्ट जब हमने देखा एटॉन स्पोर्ट्स के जो अकेले प्लेयर उस घर के अंदर मौजूद थे, उनको भी एलिमिनेट इस टीम की तरफ से नेट्स का इस्तेमाल कर किया गया। ये किसी भी प्लेयर को इनफैक्ट इनकी तरफ से अंडर एस्टिमेट नहीं किया जा रहा कि मौके का फायदा उठाएंगे, चलो अच्छा ये प्लेयर यहाँ पर इस घर में अकेला मौजूद है तो एक साथ रश करेंगे, इस प्लेयर को एलिमिनेट करेंगे। नहीं, उनकी तरफ से हर जगह पर, हर प्लेयर पर, हर टीम पर एक ही स्ट्रैटेजी एग्जीक्यूट की जा रही है एंड आई थिंक सो इसी की वजह से ये टीम 24 किल्स कर लेकर गई है। बिल्कुल मौका नहीं दिया गया बाकी टीम्स को खेलने का। हम एक्सपेक्ट भी नहीं कर रहे थे कि पीएमडब्ल्यू जैसे लेवल पर यहाँ इतनी बड़ी डोमिनेशन जो दिखाई जा सकती है इस टीम की तरफ से। लेकिन चलें फॉरएवर्स की थोड़ी सी बात करते हैं। आपने देखा कि अर्ली एलिमिनेशन उनके प्लेयर्स को हमने होते हुए देखा। उसके अलावा निग्मा गैलेक्सी की अगर बात की जाए, ये भी एक टीम है जो कि 3rd स्पॉट पर आई थी बीएमजीसी के अंदर और उनकी तरफ से भी आगाज में ही 2 प्लेयर्स अपने लूज किए जाते हैं। तमाम वो टीम जिनको मैं सोच रहा था कि हाँ मैं इनको इससे पहले देख चुका हूँ ग्लोबल चैंपियनशिप में, ये यहाँ जो वो कुछ कमाल करेंगी, उन सबको हमने अर्ली फाइट्स में जूझते हुए देखा। वैम्पायर स्पोर्ट्स भी अर्ली फाइट्स में जूझती जरूर है, बट दे मेड श्योर कि वो किसी भी तरह से एलिमिनेशन वाली साइड पर ना आए, नॉक तक नहीं डील किए जाते। साथ अगर हमें नॉक्स दिखाए जाए वैम्पायर स्पोर्ट्स के तो शायद हमें 4 से 5 ही नजर आए, इससे ज्यादा नजर नहीं आने वाले। 4-5 भी शायद मैं ज्यादा कह रहा हूँ जिस तरह से उन्होंने इस मैच खेला। लेकिन अगला मैच किस तरह से अपने उस मोमेंटम को कंटिन्यू रखी है ये टीम, फिलहाल जिस तरह का खेल ये दिखा चुके हैं, अगले मैच तक एटलीस्ट अगले 2 मैचेस तक इनको कोई बाकमाल खेलने की जरूरत तो नहीं है, बट ऑब्वियसली ये एक अच्छा मौका है। जितना ज्यादा से ज्यादा कैपिटलाइज कर लें, जितना ज्यादा पॉइंट्स जनरेट कर लें, जितना अपनी पोजीशन को जो वो मुस्तहकम किया जा सके इनकी तरफ से, उतना ही इनके लिए बेहतर होगा। एग्जैक्टली अलादीन, वही बात है कि आने वाले मैचेस इनके लिए काफी चैलेंजिंग हो सकते हैं क्योंकि रैंगल के अंदर जैसी आप डोमिनेशन दिखा पाते हो, ऑब्वियसली आप वैसी डोमिनेशन शायद मिरामार में ना दिखा पाओ, क्योंकि उसकी दूसरी वजह यही है कि आपकी बात को मैं सेकंड करूंगा कि बाकी जो लॉबी है उनकी नजरें ऑब्वियसली उन पर जमी होंगी। वैम्पायर स्पोर्ट्स को अब ढूंढा जाएगा कि ये स्क्वाड अगले मैदान में कहां पर मौजूद है और क्या इनकी स्ट्रैटेजी। इनफैक्ट और एक और चीज, जो टीम के कोचेस हैं जो इनके साथ आए हुए हैं, आई थिंक सो वो इस चीज को जरूर हाईलाइट करने वाले हैं। कोच शायद यही कह रहे होंगे कि इसकी तैयारी तो मैंने भी नहीं करवाई थी जो तुमने कर दिया, और ये आउट ऑफ सिलेबस के टाइम पे ब्रेकफास्ट के टाइम पे तमाम टीम्स कहेंगी कि वी आर हैविंग वन टीम वैम्पायर स्पोर्ट्स इज हैविंग राइट नाउ, तो हमें भी अब वही जाओ ब्रेकफास्ट है। लेकिन चलिए हाइलाइट्स की तरफ चलते हैं दोस्तों, एक्शन को दोबारा से देखते हैं कि किस तरह से इस पूरे ही मैच में जो डोमिनेशन दिखाई गई। आगाज देखें टर्निप स्पोर्ट्स की तरफ से किया जाता है और टीम निग्मा गैलेक्सी जो कि सबसे पहले इस मैच से एलिमिनेट हुई थी, उनके ऊपर किल्स बटोरे गए। लेकिन टीम बीजीएस की बात करें, वो भी हमें कुछ प्रॉब्लम से दो चार होती हुई नजर आई, लेकिन डोंग जेबाओ इस तरह से एग्रेशन दिखाती हुई नजर आती है। और रीगन्स को भी हमने देखा कि अर्ली फाइट्स में उन्होंने काफी किल्स बटोरे थे। जी बिल्कुल, और टीम स्टॉलवर्ट स्पोर्ट्स एक्शन की आपने बात की तो एक्शन हमारी स्क्रीन पर आ चुके हैं। टीम सोल के 2 प्लेयर्स को गिराते हैं इस मैच से और टीम सोल को डाउन टू 2 मैच स्टैंडिंग करते हैं। लेकिन मैं दाद दूंगा ओमेगा को, जैसे उन्होंने सोलो सर्वाइवल अपना कुछ हद तक यकीनी बनाया, टॉप 5 में अपने स्क्वाड को लेकर आने में कामयाब हो जाते हैं। वैम्पायर स्पोर्ट्स से खून चूसते हुए इस सारी लॉबी का सारे के सारे एग्रेशन को अपने अंदर समाते हुए चारों के चारों प्लेयर्स 7th फेज ऑफ द सर्कल में सर्वाइव अचीव कर रहे थे। वैम्पायर ई-स्पोर्ट्स के एंड पर आकर इनफैक्ट आखिरी जो 2 से 3 मिनट्स थे उससे पहले इनके 2 प्लेयर्स एलिमिनेट होते हैं, लेकिन जो बाकी के 2 प्लेयर्स हैं उन्होंने बॉक्स गेमिंग का बहुत अच्छे तरीके से सामना किया। सो ज्यादा बातें हम वैम्पायर ई-स्पोर्ट्स पे इसीलिए भी कर रहे हैं क्योंकि ऐसी परफॉर्मेंसेस इस स्टेज पर आना और इनफैक्ट पहले दिन आना, वो भी लैंड में किसी और कंट्री में किसी और एक एटमॉस्फेयर के अंदर निकालना बहुत मुश्किल होता है। अक्सर औकात टीम्स को 1 से 2 मैचेस लग जाते हैं इस सारे जो सारा सीन होता है उसको अपने अंदर समाने में, एब्जॉर्ब करने में थोड़ा उनको टाइम लग जाता है, थोड़ा सा सेटल होने में टाइम लग जाता है। लेकिन वैम्पायर ई-स्पोर्ट्स आई थिंक सो इसके पीछे जो प्रैक्टिस है, जो माइंडसेट है, मैं उसको दाद जरूर दूंगा। व्हाट आर योर प्रेडिक्शंस फॉर द नेक्स्ट मैचेस अलादीन? मैं आपसे जरूर पूछना चाहूंगा, खासकर वैम्पायर ई-स्पोर्ट्स के बारे में, 52 के बारे में, टीम सोल के बारे में। ये तीनों ऐसे नाम है, आपको क्या लगता है आने वाले मैचेस के अंदर, इनफैक्ट अगले ही मैच के अंदर, व्हाट डू यू बिलीव? जस्ट अ रैंडम क्वेश्चन।
देखिए, वैम्पायर ई-स्पोर्ट्स से तो मैं पहले तो मैं उम्मीद इतनी ज्यादा लगा नहीं रहा था फर्स्ट मैच में, लेकिन अब देखेंगे पहले मैच के बाद वो ऑब्वियसली फेवरेट्स तो हो रहे हैं, लेकिन मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि एज सच को बहुत शानदार मैच अगला इनका नहीं निकलने वाला। मैं किसी भी तरह से कास्टर कर्स नहीं लगा रहा खबरतीनों के साथ। एक प्रेडिक्शन है, क्योंकि एक बहुत अच्छा मैच निकालने के बाद, इतना अच्छा मैच निकालने के बाद थोड़े बहुत आप भावुक तो हो ही जाते हो, थोड़े बहुत आप ओवर कॉन्फिडेंट तो हो ही जाते हो, लेकिन ऑब्वियसली इसको अवॉइड करने के लिए उनके पास कोचेस मौजूद होंगे। लैंड का एनवायरनमेंट बहुत ज्यादा प्रेशर देता है आपको, लेकिन उस प्रेशर को भी जिस टीम ने संभाल कर इतने किल्स निकाले हैं, शायद वो अगला मैच अच्छा निकाले, बट बहुत ज्यादा अच्छी की मैं उम्मीद नहीं लगा रहा। किसी और टीम से मेरी उम्मीद जरूर है, जिस तरह से फोर राइवल्स को मैं कहूंगा कि वो एक कमबैक हमें करती हुई नजर आएंगी। सेकंड मैच के अंदर एक अच्छा मैच दिखाया जाएगा उनकी तरफ से, बॉक्स गेमिंग की तरफ से भी प्रॉमिस दिखाई जाएगी। बट अगर मुझे एक टीम पिक करना हो तो मैं शायद फोर राइवल्स के साथ जाना चाहूंगा फॉर द नेक्स्ट मैच, कि वो अगले मैच में कुछ अच्छा परफॉर्म करेंगे। आदि
मैं आरजीएस को हमें ग्लोबली के जैसे वो खेलते हैं अपने क्रिएशन की बेसिस के ऊपर, अपनी गन पावर की बेसिस के ऊपर। सो आई रियली वांट टू सी दैट इन फ्रॉम देम। लेकिन अभी के लिए टॉप डैमेज डीलर्स हमारे सामने आ चुके हैं। वीपीई ऑलरेडी 3604 का डैमेज रजिस्टर कर चुकी है। बहुत अच्छा सामना किया गया यूएसजी की तरफ से, 2455 का डैमेज रजिस्टर करने में कामयाब, 8 किल्स कर लेकर जाते हैं। लेकिन बाकी जो लॉबी है उसकी तरफ से कोई एक्सेप्शनली डैमेज डील नहीं किया गया।
बाकी लॉबी को मौका ही नहीं दिया गया डैमेज डील करने के लिए एसटी की तरफ से और यूएससी की तरफ से और वैम्पायर ई-स्पोर्ट्स की तरफ से ही वो तमाम डैमेज वो होल्ड किया जाता है। लेकिन देखिए आप कहना कि जब 700 डैमेज भी एक अच्छा डैमेज है, बेहतर डैमेज जरूर है, अच्छा नहीं कहूंगा इसको मैं। पीटीपी की तरफ से भी 800 डैमेज दिया जाता है, जो कि बेहतर जरूर है, बट आपको अगर आप किल्स का जितना नंबर अपने खाते में दर्ज करते हैं उसी हिसाब से आपका डैमेज भी बढ़ता हुआ नजर आता है। ये बात तो सबको पता ही है, लेकिन मौका नहीं दिया गया किल्स लेने का। दिस इज द रीजन व्हाई डैमेज भी इतना ज्यादा नहीं है। और रोजो के एरिया को एक टीम की तरफ से डोमिनेट करना हम पहली बार देख रहे हैं। एक ऐसा रीजन जहां पर क्लस्टर बना होता है, जहां पर डिफरेंट टीम्स डिफरेंट फाइट्स में एट द सेम टाइम चूज रही होती हैं, वहां पर एक ही टीम का डोमिनेट करना मुझे समझ नहीं आया। लेकिन जिस तरह से आपने कहा कि आउट ऑफ सिलेबस है और मैच स्टार्ट होने से पहले भी मैंने ये बात की थी कि कभी कभी दूसरी अटेम्प्ट वाला भी फेल हो जाता है और कभी कभी पहली अटेम्प्ट वाला भी टॉप कर जाता है। तो यहाँ पर वैम्पायर ई-स्पोर्ट्स ने पहली अटेम्प्ट में ही टॉप कर दिया और इस पर जो है वो उनको दाद मिलती रहेगी। लेकिन अगला मैच मिरामर का मैच है, एक्सटेंसिव मैप है, उस मैप में ड्रॉप्स चेंज होंगे, सर्कल चेंज होगा, हर चीज बदलने वाली है। लेकिन क्या पॉइंट टेबल पर टीम्स भी बदलेंगी, इसका इंतजार आदि मैच के आगाज के साथ शुरू होगा और इख्तिताम के साथ खत्म हो जाएगा।
बिल्कुल अलादीन, और इस चीज का इंतजार तो हमें भी है। आई रियली वांट टू सी केओस। मैं केओस देखना चाहता हूँ और केओस में मैचेस में तो हो ही रहा है, लेकिन लीडर बोर्ड के ऊपर मैं देखना चाहता हूँ कि आने वाले मैचेस के अंदर कोई ऐसा स्क्वाड हो जो कि टीम वैम्पायर ई-स्पोर्ट्स के एटलीस्ट अगर उनको ओवरटेक नहीं कर पाता तो थोड़ा नजदीक जरूर आ जाए, ताकि कंपटीशन मजीद बढ़ाया जाए। ऑब्वियसली सारे जितने व्यूअर्स हैं वो चाहते हैं कि उनकी जो टीम है, जिनको वो लाइक करते हैं, पसंद करते हैं, वो अच्छा परफॉर्म करे। ऑब्वियसली ऐसा होता हुआ भी नजर आएगा एंड आई रियली प्रेफर दैट। लेकिन कंपटीशन को मजीद, एंड मेरा ख्याल है इनफैक्ट ये होना है अगले मैच के अंदर कि कोई और टीम अगले मैच के अंदर कंप्लीटली डोमिनेशन दिखाएगी और वैम्पायर ई-स्पोर्ट्स को कहीं ना कहीं थोड़ा बहुत मुश्किलात का सामना जरूर करना पड़ेगा।
और के साथ साथ खबरों जितने भी लोग इस वक्त चैट में मौजूद हैं, आप सबसे मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि टीम अपनी टीम को सपोर्ट करने के साथ साथ आप हमारी जो काविश है जो कि पबजी मोबाइल की तरफ से की जाती है, PMWI पबजी मोबाइल वर्ल्ड इन्विटेशनल की, इनके जितने भी सोशल हैंडल्स हैं उनको फॉलो जरूर करें और साथ साथ एक वीडियो की तरफ चलते हैं।
I don't know how they got 11. वेलकम बैक खवातीन और साथ यहाँ पर जो है वो एक प्लेयर को हमने नाकाम कोशिशें करते हुए देखा किसी तरह से वो इस बॉल को जो है वो इस एक पॉकेट में जो वो डाल जरूर थे बट उनसे नहीं होता और खैर फिलहाल बात करते हैं आपसे हो जाता है आपने कंपटीशन की नहीं मुझसे भी नहीं होता मुझसे मेरा पेट नहीं संभाला जा रहा है कब से मुझे वो तंग कर रहा है बार बार आके कौन है पेट मक्खी तो नहीं है मक्खी जिसे आपने हाथ दिलाया ठीक है सो गाइस थोड़ी सी रियलिटीज की तरफ वापस से आते हैं और ये शुगल जो है वो आप लोगों के साथ लगता रहेगा थोड़ा सा माहौल थोड़ा सा एनवायरनमेंट काफी ज्यादा सीरियस हो जाता है कभी कभी तो उसको थोड़ा सा हम उसके ऊपर ठंडा पानी जरूर फेंकेंगे आप लोग आइसिंग जरूर करते हुए नजर आएंगे अक्सर का लेकिन अभी के लिए थोड़ी सी आइसिंग टीम बीपी की तरफ से सारी लॉबी के ऊपर कर दी जा चुकी है वंस अगेन जो अल्फाज हैं वो ऑब्वियसली वैम्पायर स्पोर्ट्स का नाम ही लेंगे क्योंकि दिस वाज समथिंग क्वाइट गुड फ्रॉम देयर साइड लेकिन टीम स्टार्ट्स हमारे सामने आते हुए वेव 9-1 का डैमेज रजिस्टर करते हुए डैमेज रिसीव्ड उसके मुकाबले में काफी कम है इनफैक्ट सारे ही प्लेयर्स का काफी कम है फ्लूक को आप देखें दैट वाजंट अ फ्लूक 900 का डैमेज देते हैं और रिसीव्ड में 173 सिर्फ लादेन बिल्कुल और किल्स भी देखें आप उनकी तरफ से एलिमिनेशंस भी 7 बटोरी जाती हैं जहाँ सिर्फ 2 ही नॉक्स निकालते हुए नजर आया हमें और वहीं पर आप देखें जस्टिफाई करते हुए इस वक्त नॉक्स को किल्स को नॉक्स के साथ नजर आएंगे हमें सिर्फ वेव उसके अलावा बाकी तमाम प्लेयर्स ने इवन रेवन क्लॉ ने भी काफी अच्छा खेला काफी अच्छे किल्स के साथ साथ नॉकआउट्स भी निकाले लेकिन वहीं पर माइक को देखिए 5 किल्स निकाले लेकिन सिर्फ 3 नॉकआउट और स्पेसिफिकली फ्लूक जिस तरह से उन्होंने जो बाकी फाइट्स थी उन पर नजर डालते हुए थर्ड पार्टीज की हैं वो काफी शानदार है अपने टीममेट्स की जो नॉक्स है उनको कंफर्म किया गया जिसकी वजह से डैमेज भी आप तो इस पर काफी ज्यादा है माइक के पास सो माइक का वो रोल रहा है पूरी टीम में कि नॉकआउट जो प्लेयर्स हैं उनका इंस्टेंट किल कंफर्म करना और फ्लूक का ये रोल रहा है कि जहां पर 2 टीम्स आपस में फाइट कर रही हैं वहां पर उनके किल्स चुराना और ये बात उनके जो स्टैट्स हमें वाज़ेह करते हुए नजर आएंगे वेव की तरफ से एक डिस्ट्रक्टिव वेव फेंकी जाती है इस पूरे मैच में 8 किल्स 8 एलिमिनेशन कंफर्म करते हुए नजर आते हैं अगर एमवीपी की मैं बात करूं आदि तो मुझे लग रहा है कि सारे तीनों के प्लेयर्स माइक फ्लूक वेव तीनों को एमवीपी बना देना चाहिए तीनों की तरफ से बहुत शानदार खेला गया जी बिल्कुल और तीनों के तीनों एमवीपी मेरे ख्याल से तो नहीं बन सकते लेकिन ऑब्वियसली नॉकआउट्स की अगर हम बात करते हैं तो सबसे ज्यादा वेव के बैकपैक में जाते हैं नॉक्स और 1 किल ज्यादा भी स्कोर करते हुए नजर आते हैं तो 1 किल उन्होंने स्टील भी किया और फ्लूक को अगर आप देखें तो वो 2 नॉक्स रजिस्टर उन्होंने किए हैं और 7 एलिमिनेशंस उन्होंने स्कोर किए हैं तो कहीं ना कहीं थर्ड पार्टी के अंदर इनके सारों के सारे जो प्लेयर्स थे वो कहीं ना कहीं मुलव्विस जरूर थे आपका पेट आपको फिर से तंग कर रहा है मैं देख पा रहा हूँ बहुत अच्छे तरीके से कोई बात नहीं दिन हो जाता है ऐसे हम साउथ एशिया रीजन को रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं तो ऑब्वियसली ये हर घर की कहानी है लेकिन अभी के लिए कुछ प्लेयर्स ऑन स्टेज आपको दिखाई दे रहे हैं सबके दिमाग में यही चल रहा है कि वैम्पायर स्पोर्ट्स ने हमारे साथ आखिर क्या कर दिया है और हमने ऐसी क्या गलती की इस मैच के अंदर सो ऑब्वियसली उन गलतियों को सुधारना पड़ेगा व्हाट डू यू थिंक कि ओवरऑल वैम्पायर स्पोर्ट्स के इस मैच में परफॉर्मेंस के बाद कितनी स्ट्रैटेजीज चेंज होंगी जैसे हमने इस मैच में देखा कि टीम्स ज्यादा एग्रेस नहीं कर रही थी अलादीन और जो रशेस किए गए और वो मेरे ख्याल से
एन्ड अलरेडी हामीले देख्यौं कि एससीएमा यो सब कुराहरु सुरु भइसकेको छ ल्यान्ड अडियन्स ल्यान्ड सुरु भइसकेको छ भनेपछि पीएमजीसीमा अझै पछाडिबाट कराउने हल्ला गर्ने अडियन्स किनभने एससीएमा त क्रेज अलिकति बढी छ नि त मेजर छ भनौं पुरै वर्ल्डको मेजर चाइना पछिको त सायद एससीए नै रहेको सो त्यो हिसाबले त्यहाँ आउने अडियन्सहरु एन्ड देन उनीहरु कराउँदा पछाडिबाट आफ्नो टिमलाई हुट गर्दा सपोर्ट गर्दा अझ मजा आउँछ सब कुराहरु हामी अडियोको रूपमा सुन्न पनि पाउँछ कहिले कहिले त कास्टिङ पनि एफेक्टेड हुन्छ अडियन्सको चिल्लाइले भनौँ न जो एक्चुअल स्टुडियोमा रहेका गाजहरू छन् उनीहरू इफेक्टेड पनि रहन्छन् पुरा स्टेज कामी रहेको हुन्छ बट यस त्यो सब इमोसन चाहिँ हामी फेरि देख्न पाउँछौँ अरू पनि दिनमा त्यसपछि अहिले हामी युएसजी को स्ट्याट्स हेर्दैछौँ अगाडि युएसजी स्पट राम्रो समातेको थियो बट उनकै पोजिसनमा पछि भ्याम्पायरले पुश गरेर उनीहरूलाई नै ट्रबल दिएको थियो सो द्याट्स वाइ यो चाहिँ अलिकति डिसअपोइन्टेड होला किनभने राम्रो स्पोर्ट पहिलेबाट उनीहरूले समातिरहेको थियो बट ठिकै छ पहिलो म्याच मात्र नै भएको देन लेटर म्याचहरुमा उनीहरूले रिकभरी गर्न सकिन्छ भनौँ न व्यापारको अगेन्स्टमा यदि त्यो फाइट उनीहरूले म्यानेज गर्न सक्यो भने उनीहरूलाई कहीँ न कहीँ एडभान्टेजहरू चाहिँ बन्ने जस्तो देखिएको थियो युएसले जापान लिग जितेर आएको टिम भनौँ न एउटा बिग टिम रहेको छ जापानको त्यो एग्रेसन हामीले एक्सपेक्टेसन वाइज पनि राख्नुपर्ने हुन्छ जस्तो पनि लाग्छ हुन त त्यो एफर्ट पनि देखिएको थियो जब उनीहरू क्लासमा आएका थिए व्यापारसँगकोमा तर त्यो कम्पाउन्डभित्रको क्लास कहिले काहीँ भनौँ न एक्सपेक्टेड भन्दा बाहिरको कुरामा गइरहेको हुन्छ एकजना प्लेयरले त्यहाँ टिकट लिएर प्लेयर्सहरूलाई चाहिँ टेक डाउन गरिरहेको पनि देखिएको त हुन्थ्यो अलिकति कन्फ्युजन खालको क्लास चाहिँ हामीले त्यहाँ देख्न पाइन्थ्यो एन्ड देवीको 1 सेकेन्ड कस्तो थियो मलाई जाउँ लागेको थियो पिच्छमा लागिरहेको छ एभाइलेबल छ नि त जान मन लाग्यो भने जान सकिन्छ मैले सायद सुन्दै थिएँ कि लगभग नेपाली 1200 रुपियाँ यहाँको करेन्सीको सायद 40 कति चाहिँ रहेको छ जान सकिन्छ बट प्रब्लम भनेको त्यहाँसम्म जानु हो गएर हेर्न त 1000 रुपियाँको टिकट प्रब्लमहरू त्यहाँसम्म जानु इज प्रब्लम मिल्थ्यो भने हामी पनि गइन्थ्यो होला तर ठिकै छ हामी कहीँ न कहीँबाट हेर्न त पाउँछ क्लोजली अब्जर्भ गर्न त पाउँदैछौँ भने भनौँ न अनि अडियन्सले पनि हामी सँगसँगै बसेर चाहिँ म्याच हेर्दैछ यस प्लेयरहरू लबीमा घुसिसकेका छन् यस ओके देखिरहेको छ अलरेडी 70-71 जना प्लेयर चाहिँ घुसिसकेका रहेछन् दुईजना प्लेयर कुनै टिमको चारवटा बोलाउँछ अनि म्याच हामी स्टार्ट गर्न सक्छौँ 70 लाग्यो मलाई त्यहाँ दुईजना प्लेयर मेसी एउटै टिमका चाहिँ रहेका थिए मेन टुर्नामेन्टको डे 1 छ आज स्टेजमा पुरा लाइटिङ एन्ड सो अन सेट गरिएको छ चिटिक्क देखिएको छ ठिकै छ अब लाइक केही न केही एक्स्ट्रा एआरका कन्सेप्टहरू पनि यहाँ बिचमा चाहिँ आउने नैवाला छ हामीलाई थाहा छ एन्ड युएसएका प्लेयरहरू पनि यहाँ क्यामेरामा चाहिँ अथवा हामीलाई भनौँ न पुरै हाई चाहिँ गर्दैछन् हामी पनि हाई गरिदियौँ होइन यस्तो किसिमले गर्दा हामी पनि गर्थ्यौँ ठिकै छ हामीलाई पनि फिल चाहिँ आइरहेको छ मजा आइरहेको छ बाँकी विथ द म्याच हामी अझै एक्स्ट्रा कुराहरू चाहिँ पक्कै पनि नोट गर्न पाउँछ म त हुन्छ नि त्यो एआरका कुराहरू देखाइन्छ अघि भर्खर म्याप देखाएको थियो फ्री फ्लोट गर्दै थियो अनि त्यहाँबाट प्लेन निक्लेर बिचमा जान्छ यस्तो यस्तो मोमेन्ट्सहरूको लागि चाहिँ म सुपर एक्साइटेड हुन्छु त्यो हेर्न अलग्गै मजा आउँछ क्या भनौँ न ओके यताबाट निस्केर उताबाट गएको थियो गइहाल्यो भने जस्तो पनि हुन्छ तर जुन ओभरअल माहौल बनेको छ त्यहाँको जुन सिनारियो बनेको छ एकदमै चिलिङ खालको भाइब्स के जस्तो हेर्दा पनि जाउँ गएर बसु खालको त रहेको थियो तपाईँले भने जस्तै जान त पाइन्थ्यो तर के गर्नु त्यहाँको टिकट अफोर्ड गर्न सकेला यहाँबाट जाने टिकट अफोर्ड गर्न गाह्रो छ धेरै कुरा अब त हामी गएर फेरि यहाँ हाम्रो अडियन्सलाई इन्टरटेन गर्ने भन्नेखेरि त्यो पनि त बुझ्नुपर्ने हुन्छ त्यो पहिलो म्याच देखिएको छ बाँकी रहेको म्याचेसहरू पनि बिस्तारै हामी कन्टिन्युसली हेर्दै जाने पनि छौँ एक्सपेक्टेसन अहिले केही पनि नराखौँ आजको दिन पुरै रिड गरौँ जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई हुन त यो सो कसरी फ्लोमा जान्छ भन्ने कुरा बुझ्न पनि टाइम चाहिँ लाग्छ जस्तो देखिएको छ अभियसली अब हामी भनौँ न रेगुलर अरू पनि इभेन्टहरू हेरिरहेको छ हामीले थाहा हुन्छ अब के आउँछ अब के हुन्छ नेक्स्ट स्टेप के हो पोइन्ट टेबल आयो यो आयो त्यो आयो भनेर बट यो जब पनि ग्लोबल इभेन्ट हुन्छ नि हामीलाई पनि समथिङ न्यू हुन्छ हामीलाई पनि समथिङ लर्निङ हुन्छ एक त टिमहरूको गेम प्ले हेरेर यस यो कुरा हाम्रो रिजनमा इम्प्लिमेन्ट गर्न सकिन्छ भन्ने कुरा हुन्छ दोस्रो कुरा चाहिँ जसरी म्याच अगाडि बढ्छ त्यहाँ पनि हामी हेरिरहेको हुन्छ कि अब के देखाइन्छ अब के आउँछ त्यो सबै कुराहरू पनि हाम्रो लागि नौलो हुन्छ एन्ड न्यू फ्लो चाहिँ हामीले हेर्न पाउँछौँ जब पिएमपी ल्याउँछ हामीलाई फ्लो याद भइसकेको थियो पिएमएनएसको लागि हामी दुईजनै गर्दै थियौँ हामी अचम्म परिरहेको थियो बिचको त्यो नेक्स्ट कुरा आउँदाखेरि चाहिँ अब कुरा गर्नु पर्दाखेरि यो पनि समथिङ न्यू रहेको छ बट हामी पनि केही सिक्छौँ केही सिकाउँछ पनि
एकजना लाइभ आउने हेर्न आउने 4 टोटल भ्यूज
To say personally how incredible it is to talk to you all in person. It's too far long, as we all know. I'm here today to share the exciting details about 2022 PubG Mobile Global Championship and more. Stay tuned until the end. Okay, firstly, I'm happy to announce that the 2022 PMGC Grand Finals will be a major offline event in Indonesia in January. PMGC League will begin in early November and it will run for 4 weeks to determine the teams heading to Indonesia to battle for the crown as the best PubG Mobile team in the world. An incredible 48 teams, the best of best teams from each region, qualified through the year. The most to ever in our offline event will join to PMGC League. The top 13 teams will take their place in grand finals with 3 direct invites. As well as PMWI, Sony's Xperia will be the official smartphone partner for 2022 PNGC, ensuring all players are able to perform at the highest level on the biggest stage. And that's not all yet. I'm excited to talk to you about a new competition, PubG Mobile Regional Clash, beginning next month. The PMRC is focusing on pitting different regions against each other, beginning with PNPL's Southeast Asia versus PEL. You never want to miss it, so please follow us from September 22nd to 25th. Okay, it's a time to go back to enjoy PMWI. On the circle! Thank you!
PMGC को पूरा मेजर अनाउन्समेन्ट हाम्रो अगाडि चाहिँ आउँदैछ र त अब हामी त पुरा एजुम्सन लगाएर बसिरहेको छ 24+24 हुन्छ ईस्ट हुन्छ वेस्ट हुन्छ बट एट द एन्ड इन्डोनेसियामा ल्यान्ड हुन्छ या सीएमा त अलरेडी पबजी मोबाइल यति हाइपमा छ कि मजा आउँछ त्यहाँ हेर्न यदि ल्यान्ड भयो भने अब त्यहाँ के नयाँ कुरा यहाँभन्दा त अलिकति अपग्रेड हुनु पर्यो नि त PMW भन्दा ठुलो PMGC हुन्छ भनेपछि यहाँभन्दा अझै नेक्स्ट लेभल कुराहरू चाहिँ त्यहाँ इन्क्लुड पक्कै पनि गरिनेछ हाम्रो प्लेयरहरू रेडी हुँदैछन् त्यो हामीले केही मोमेन्ट्स अगाडि बढ्ने हेरिरहेको थियो त्यो दुईजना प्लेयर मध्ये एकजना त सायद हाम्रो अनाउन्समेन्ट गर्ने त्यो होला उहाँ गएर अनाउन्समेन्ट बताउन एनिवे हाम्रो म्याच यही टाइममा अब स्टार्ट हुने अलमोस्ट स्टार्ट भएर हामी म्याचहरूलाई कसरी जान्छ पनि फलो गर्ने सरिला प्लेयर्सहरूलाई नै देखाइँदैछ एकदमै लुज भएर प्लेयर्सहरूको के कस्तो रहेको छ त माहौल उनीहरू कसरी लिँदैछ त यो इभेन्टलाई अनि प्रिपरेसन क्रिएट भइरहेको छ फेसियल एक्सप्रेसनदेखि लिएर सबै कुरा पनि म्याटर त गर्छ नै हाम्रो मेन टुर्नामेन्टको डे 1 को दोस्रो म्याच केही समयपछि चाहिँ स्टार्ट गर्ने स्टुडियो तपाईँहरूको स्क्रिन अगाडि देखाइएको छ झिलिमिली पारेर यहाँ प्लेयर्सहरू सबै सेटल पनि छन् हुन त युवा प्लेयरले अर्को प्लेयर देख्ने भन्दा पनि हामीले पनि त्यो क्यामेरा एंगलबाट हेर्ने हो नि प्लेयर गायब हुने जस्तो स्टुडियो चाहिँ यहाँ रहेको रहेछ डिफ्रेन्ट कम्पार्टमेन्ट टिम्सहरूको लागि माहौल घरमै भएको जस्तो पनि बनाइदिन खोजेको छन् भने खेल्न अब हान्नुपर्छ मेबी उनको त्यो एग्रेसन अब हामी देख्न सक्छौँ होला लाइक तपाईहरु चाहिँ म्याच फलो गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ भने चाहिँ तपाईको कन्ट्री खेल्दैछ अथवा तपाईको टिम खेल्दैछ भने चाहिँ